Sagittarius, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early February 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business, as always, and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Sagittarius collective. I hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for these beautiful Saggies in early February? We're in Aquarius season. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see who might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Saggy. The deck is trying to jump out of my hands already. Okay, let's get it going here. First card out. Oh, yeah. As soon as I start shuffling, it's popping out. Okay. Hey, we got our good friend, Mr. Bookhead. So that's good. Usually when a card is urgently trying to jump out of my hands, it's one that I'm like, oh, okay. Sometimes it's a warning, but this is one of my favorite cards from this deck. I just love it, and I will make a Mr. Bookhead costume or cosplay one day. I promise you that. But I like it. It's good. It's Page of Pentacles type of energy. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the February subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk about this interesting individual. So if you look at the picture, this always makes me smile whenever this card comes out and puts me in a good mood. So hopefully that carries through the rest of the reading. But we have this young individual. They got books in the hands, they got scrolls. I think there's even books in the background, and even has book for a damn hat. So I think that's just hilarious for some reason. Now, when I think of a tarot card correlation, it does remind me of the Page of Pentacles, where all pages represent students and they represent communication. So these are the biggest things that I'm picking up. For some Saggies, maybe you just have a thirst for information or knowledge in this time. Maybe you're diving down a lot of rabbit holes and trying to learn this, learn that, figure this out. And everyone knows that Sagittarius is a very philosophical sign. I think Saggies have a great sense of humor, but this card does tie into that knowledge acquisition. So for some of you, maybe you just feel like there's something more to a situation and you need to figure it out. To me, it's like I'm digging for information. So just take that for what it's worth. But aside from that, it could represent communication. It could represent learning something new. It's usually pretty good. The only downside with cards in this vein is that sometimes it's a little unreliable. So watch out for any situations that are a little flaky. But we're just going to let him chill out. He's looking cool over there, looking nice. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Let's shuffle it up one time here for Saggy. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. So it was pretty wound tight overall, energetically. The reading was titled They Are Nervous. And to me, it felt like someone doing a little bit of overthinking, or just something had someone wound up. So I was saying, like, watch the anxiety levels, watch the stress. That was a big thing. But again, it didn't have to be you. You might be very carefree. I know a lot of Saggies are, but the big energy I was picking up was that of anxiety. So hopefully if that did come in, that has subsided. We're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Saggy to start us off. What we got for Saggy? Thank you. Okay. I mean, I'll take it. I mean, we got our good friend. It's like we're getting visited by all our friends here, Saggy. We got our pal, the King of Cups, a.k.a. Kyle of Cups himself, without a beard. He's chilling out. He's holding a goblet. He's having a darn good time just hanging out. That's usually a good sign. So you have like the first 2 cards are what I perceive as friendly cards of the channel. Let's get a couple more here. Cool. All right, so we got the Knight of Cups, very similar. This is one thing I've noticed for all the fire signs this week. There's a lot of other people's energy, a lot of court cards showing up in all the fire signs. But the Knight of Cups is cool. That's another communication card. Okay. You got a bonus here too. So I'm cautiously optimistic with what we're seeing here, Sadie. So we got the 2 of Wands right here on the back end, but that did also pop out with the best card in the deck, We got the sun right here. So there is this underlying hopeful energy that I've been picking up since the very first card popped out. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes, and we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, I always like to look at the elements. That informs us about the area of life or how the energy could be moving. And we have two main elements. We have water and we have fire. This is the Saggy comfort zone right here. This one, it depends on what clarifies it, but water, I think it can be really good. It's very creative. It's a think outside the box type of energy. When I see water energy, I think of um, things we care deeply for, people, topics, situations that have a little piece of our heart connected. It could just be artistic creativity. So again, that thinking outside of the box. So even if you're going through some rough things, spirit might be telling you to approach it from a different angle than you normally would. Think creatively about it. And also the creative juices could be flowing too. And then the fact that we have people, there's like this social communication undertone as well, which we'll get into with the main cards. And then we have fire right here on the back end. That's the realm of action. And as a fire sign myself, this is where we're most comfortable. So whether it's the actions you take, the actions somebody else takes, it could just represent your overall vitality, your energy levels. So there might be something about the energy levels that you want to keep an eye on. But the only downside to all of these energies is that they could be very unpredictable. Like with the water, it's always up and down. With the fire, it could take a left on you real quick and be explosive. So let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, as mentioned, we got our good pal chilling right here, Mr. King of Cups, aka Kyle of Cups himself, hanging out. Now, the one thing I love about all the King cards is they represent control of their respective suit. So we just spoke about the water and what that suit represents. So the King of Cups, he's chilling, right? Like a nice, easy, down the middle, easy going, easy flowing type of energy, emotionally balanced in its best form. It could represent the fullest expressions of love and care. So for some Saggies, maybe you're feeling a little softer around the edges. Maybe you're a little more sentimental than you normally are, or someone you're connected to could be feeling that way. So the King of Cups is great. It could also be an energy that likes to let loose and have fun. So like some people do link the King of Cups like throwing a few back or partying it up, but in its good form, it does it nice and balanced. When we get to the negative aspects of the card, all the things we just spoke about do flip on their head. So it can represent big feelings, being in your feelings, emotional highs and lows, like quick, rapid emotional shifts and changes. It could represent somebody that parties it up a little too much. So we're not going to linger there, but I'm just trying to give you the full perspective of it. And again, for some of you, it could just be a water sign that you're connected to. So Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Now, moving to the middle, as we get him tucked back in by the amethyst, so he could keep hanging out with us, we have the Knight of Cups. So a lot of similarities between the King and the Knight. So, and again, for some of you, it could be people. But the thing with Knights, they represent actions that people take. So similar to the fire, but this one does it a little bit smoother, right? It could also be a communication. When I think of the Knight of Cups, I think of like your prototypical Prince Charming type of individual, someone that's really good with their words, someone that could talk the bark off of a tree. So when I see this, I like it. I think it's good. It's super smooth, emotionally expressive, moving at the right pace. So there could be certain things you're dealing with where spirit just wants you to pace yourself. In the downside, this could be an energy that could play off of your emotion, that could make you feel bad for it, make you feel guilty, that just knows how to, I don't want to use the word manipulate because that has some rough connotations, but when I see the Knight of Cups, this is an energy that can definitely play off of someone's feelings. So it's just something to watch out for. And it could also represent log jams, emotional log jams. So we'll see. Now, moving to the back end, we do have a bit of a vibe switch. And again, these could be different people. They could just be conversations. I'm already getting that undertone, but we have the Two of Wands. All twos in tarot can represent decisions, choices, being at a crossroads, and partnerships. Those are the main archetypes. The Two of Wands specifically does connect heavily to planning because this person, look what they're doing. They're at the beginning of a trail. They're picking their direction and they're figuring out where to go. So it's strategy. That's the big thing. I'm looking to the future. I'm looking to the horizon. So some of you might be in that mode. Maybe you need to plan something out, like make planned action, or maybe someone you're connected to is in the strategy phase. That is very possible. So we'll see what the energy is around that. In its worst sense, the Two of Wands could be an energy that just feels stuck. It could be an energy that is very indecisive. And then for your bonus, we have the Sun, the best card in the whole entire deck. Leo energy here. It's light, life, and love that shines down on us. It is source energy. It's warm and it's loving. So I think of this as wins and victories. It's very optimistic. So there's a warmth to this. The downside to the Sun, and even though it's the most positive card, it does have a bit of a downside. It could just be too intense, right? Because you ever get out there in the summertime and the sun is angry. I mean, sometimes this energy could be very, very intense. You don't want to get burned. But I think it's okay. I'm feeling okay since the beginning. But I want to dive deeper on all of it, Sagi. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. Let's see what's happening for my Saggies. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on Mr. King of Cups. Let's see what he's doing here. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Sagi, you can drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, King of Cups time. King O' Cups. Very peoply. Very, very peoply. So we have the King of Swords in the upright. These energies can be a little bit oppositional, and this is giving me a very similar vibe to what I was picking up in the Aries reading, where we have a lot of court cards, we have a lot of people showing up. So could it be a little gossipy? Maybe. Could there be some interesting, important conversations going on? For sure. But these cards do oppose each other in a light type of way, whereas the King of Cups is more about emotions and feeling his way through situations. The King of Swords is very pragmatic, very logical, very smart, very structured. Not to say the King of Cups isn't, but to me, they just approach things differently. Whereas the King of Cups is more about the heart, the King of Swords is about the mind. So for some Saggies, you might be in that place where it's like, do I go with my heart or do I go with my mind? Do I go with what feels right or do I go with what makes logical sense? So there could be certain situations you're dealing with where you're kind of in that middle ground where it's like, do I go with the heart or do I go with the mind? So again, it doesn't have to be a bad thing, but I am getting this chit chat. I'm getting this chatter. I'm getting a lot of people, a lot of talking for whatever reason. So for some of you, maybe there's just something you need to get off your chest, or someone feels like they need to get something off their chest seriously. So I could say, like with these two cards, it could be a serious talk of some kind too. But I'm not nervous about it. It just feels peoply. Let's keep going. Let's go in on the Knight of Cups, because who knows? This might do a little vibe switch on us. But yeah, I have this stuck in the middle type of energy. Thank you. Okay. Just so many people, my friends. All right, so we have the Knight of Swords in reverse underneath the Knight of Cups. Notice the theme. Do you see the theme? Where we got the two cups, then we have the two knights. Same exact thing. This could be someone deciding to go with what feels right. That's the main thing, where it's like, sometimes, logically something might be right, but I'm just going to do with what feels right to me. I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to go with my intuition. So to me, this does feel like action, and I do like the way it moves, but it is somebody kind of going off instinct. That's like the main vibe I'm picking up. So for a lot of Saggies, that might be how the next couple weeks turn out for you, where you're kind of just feeling your way through situations in the world. Now, the Knight of Swords is the fastest moving knight in the upright. So again, we got water sign, we got air sign. The Knight of Swords can sometimes be a little too aggressive. Sometimes it could be a little too pushy. So when I see it in reverse underneath the Knight of Cups, it's like, let me slow it down. Like, I know what I'm going to do, but let me slow this down. And again, the messages. So again, I'm not sure if this is something, a topic, or someone. The energy's all over the place to approach something, but in a softer way, in a softer way. Let's keep going. I mean, it's very clear cut how the energy comes through. Is the energetic focus shows on either the circle of people around you or something about how to approach something, how to have that talk, how to have that convo. And if that's not you, it could be somebody else where it's like, all right, well, how do I approach this? Which way should I approach this? Because I know it's something that could potentially be serious. But I like the watery vibe. Let's go in on the two. We'll see what that has. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Can you guess what kind of card it is? Can you take a lucky guess, Saji? If you guessed another person, you would be absolutely correct. So we have almost the whole entire zodiac out here, especially now with the Page of Pentacles in the upright. And he's giving me difficulty getting into position. But I like that Page of Pentacles. I usually think it's a good card. Yeah, these cards are like kind of acting up when I'm trying to get them in place. So the Page of Pentacles is also a messenger. It's also a student. It also reminds me of this guy. Remember, we saw Mr. Bookhead way in the beginning, and I said he reminds me of the Page of Pentacles. So to me, this is somebody approach. I have way different approaches here. I have way different approaches. So whether these are the ways you're doing it or somebody else, this is absolutely somebody with a plan in place where it's like, I will address this and I will do this and I will do that. It's using a structured approach. So for some of you, maybe there's a situation where it's like, yeah, you could feel your way through it, but Spirit might want you to take a very structured and slow, methodical approach to it. Either that or there's someone you're connected to that's taking that route. Whereas you might be in this energy, and they might be in this energy, where it's I'm just going to take my time and I'm going to approach this one foot in front of the other. Like the energy feels like it's taking its time. But the conversation, the communication, it's all over the place, all over, just like I saw in the Aries reading, just like I saw in the Leo reading as well with all the court cards. So I'm not sure who all these people are around you. I would say just watch out for getting pulled into other people's stuff because there's just so much chit chat, so much chatter going on. But yeah, this could be a planned out energy, whether it's something you need to do or something somebody else is doing, where it's like, all right, well, if you do have a combo with somebody and they might act like it was out of the blue, but it really wasn't, like they were planning on talking about this, or this conversation was planned ahead of time. There's something about it. Let's go through and do a quick recap, then we'll get into the shadow. So, obviously, if you look here in the box, most of the reading is other people's energy. We don't see any of the Sagittarius power cards here. So we got the King of Cups, King of Swords right here in the front. And this is somebody that might be thinking like, all right, so should I do what my mind says is right? Should I do what my heart says is right? I'm a personal believer that sometimes it's good to do a little bit of both. I like that middle ground. Um, it could also be a serious talk or a conversation of a serious nature or something that should be addressed. That's what I was picking up here in the front, especially when we move to the middle. I have the Knight of Cups with the Knight of Swords in reverse. I'm just going to do what feels right to me. I'm going to follow my gut. I'm going to follow my intuition. So for a lot of Saggies, you might be feeling your way through situations and the world itself, which again, that's not a bad thing. But on the back end, we do have this little switch up with the Two of Wands and the Page of Pentacles where it's like, all right, the energy feels loose and it's feeling its way through. This one feels so structured. We have the Two of Wands with the Page of Pentacles. So whether it's a plan you're putting in place or a structured approach you're using, or it's somebody else, that's how they're moving, where you might be in this energy, they might be in that, or it could be flipped on its head. There is something around a talk or a conversation where it is planned ahead of time, or at least structured, where it's like, I'm going to say this, 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 and this. Next time I speak to that person, I need to address these topics. So please take a screenshot. You can look into that further if you'd like. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. And yeah, I always like to pull a shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing too. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this shadow card out. Are we going to get another person here? We're going to get another people-y people. Let's go. Okay. I mean, I think it's okay, especially in this area. So we do have the Hermit. That's big Virgo energy. And I usually think it's retracted, pulled back, and wise. So it's odd that we have this peoply social type of energy all in the main part of the spread, and now we have the Hermit. So for some of you, whether you're in Hermit mode where it's like I need some solitude, I need a little bit of space to myself, all this pressure could put you into Hermit mode. So keep that in mind, where you might be retracting or pulling back your energy, or somebody else could. Now the good thing about the Hermit to me is the wisdom, the spirituality. This is a beautiful card for all that. But the downside to the Hermit is the isolation. It could represent loneliness or just like an empty feeling. That's the shadow side of this Hermit to me. So just watch out for stuff like this. I think it's all about like a balance, or there could just be someone that you haven't talked to yet, especially with what we're seeing about conversation. That could be communication issues. But yeah, the Hermit could be good for a lot of you because it's wise, Or maybe that's just the vibe you're in. Maybe you're not interested in this person, that person, that person. Maybe you're just in your own bubble. So we're going to leave it at that, Saji. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the February subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation, you could book a personal reading with me at my website, mastermetaphysics.com, so we could have a little chat. My February calendar is up, so go check that out. They usually go pretty quick. But for the February subscriber surprise, we're doing a nice different style this month. We're doing a winner's choice. So the winners, which will be 3, will have their choice of the Tarot of the Owls, the Gilded Tarot Royale, or a handmade crystal pendant from my shop, mastermetaphysics.com, once again. So if you'd like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the cards we saw in this week's reading, which one caught your attention the most, whether it really inspired you or hit you right in your feelings. Anyone that stood out to you, and you'll be entered to win. And at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.